they hear him. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
Okay, this is Hot Boxing Minute. We got a special guest on the show today, my man, the fighting pride of the Pacific Northwest, Victor Morales Jr. My man, Victor, how are you doing on this fine day today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for taking the time to speak to me. This is after work hours, like 5 in the afternoon in my time.
Yeah.
Most fighters I talk to are always like, you got to talk to me either early in the morning or like 11 or 12 in the afternoon when I'm working. How is it that your schedule is to where I get to talk to you in the time that actually works with my schedule for once?
Well, not only do I box full time, but we also run a family business, so I kind of get to work around schedule, and I can schedule my own time. My dad's my trainer, so it makes it easy to where we can just rearrange things and do things either in the morning or the afternoon. We can just set these things up whenever it works for everybody.
Nice. It definitely works for me. I appreciate that. Is the family business boxing related?
No, we run a pressure washing business out here in the Pacific Northwest. Everything turns green out here, so we have a company that goes out and we clean pretty much siding, concrete, just a lot of things.
Nice. A working man. I totally
Yeah.
did not expect that. That's what's up, Victor.
Yeah.
I'm learning new stuff here. There's interviews with you online. And I've seen some of the stuff floating around on YouTube, but I didn't want to look too much into the interviews I've already done because I prefer to be like kind of a blank slate when I'm interviewing fighters. That way I don't try to copy other content. Although you're probably going to hear some of these questions because how many questions can a boxing interviewer ask?
Right.
So just real quick for the fans who aren't familiar with the El Tornado Victor Morales Jr. story, when did you start boxing? How did you get into this sport?
I started when I was 7, but I got into the gym well before that. We followed my dad into the gym and kind of just were those kids running around the gym until we were actually old enough to join and actually start. And then we started at 7, and the rest is history.
And this was, as far as I know, at the Garden Home Rec Center in the basement. Is that
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
And are you still training there, or I hear you're like out here in Los Angeles possibly?
I do half my training in Los Angeles and half my training here at home. So right now I'm at home. I'm based at home, but my main stuff, obviously my promoter, my management team, everyone's based in California.
Nice, nice. So you did have a relatively deep amateur pedigree, which greatly helps with experience when you're getting into the pros. I see online it says you had a record of 118 and 12 amateur fights and a bunch of like crazy national titles. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Now, what was probably your most fondest amateur fight experience or the pinnacle of your amateur career, in your opinion?
I think traveling overseas to Dominican Republic, fighting people from Cuba, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti. That was probably one of the top spots in my amateur career.
Is there anybody that's currently in the professional scene that you sparred or fought against when you took those overseas trips that we might know of?
Overseas trips, not that I can think of off the top of my head. But I fought like in the States. I fought pretty much everybody.
Yeah, I remember watching the broadcast and it was talking about how you beat Virgil Ortiz Jr. back in 2014 in some like national competition.
Yeah.
So that's a little hash mark right there. You're like, oh, he's coming back into competition. By the way, I don't know if you heard the announcement on that one.
Yeah.
But he's coming back at 154 pounds. Have you followed Virgil Ortiz's career professionally at this point in his career?
Yeah, of course. I beat him 3 times, but we're still super good friends. Whenever we talk on social media, and we're always cool.
Nice, nice. That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear he's doing healthy. It was kind of a weird health scare thing there with the rhabdomyolysis or something like that.
Yeah.
And wasn't sure if he was going to keep competing or not. He's moving into the 154-pound division, so hats off to Virgil Ortiz. But we're going to get this back to you. So boxing in and of itself, it's just a ruthless sport, man. It's a vicious and a very tough sport. They call it the loneliest sport. What is it about boxing that keeps you in it, or what motivates you to stay focused in this crazy game called boxing?
Well, obviously the same thing that everybody else says is I want to win a world title, but I also want to be known in the Pacific Northwest as the guy from the Pacific Northwest, the main guy from there. that pretty much keeps me driving. My family obviously keeps me motivated, and just winning that world title. That's what we want to do first.
Nice. Are there, pardon my blanking out on this one, are there other notable professional fighters that are from the Pacific Northwest? I'm not, maybe Seattle, or I'm not sure.
Right now, the biggest name, I guess, well, used to be the biggest name is Steve Forbes. He fought Oscar De La Hoya.
Oh,
He
I do know
came
Steve Forbes. Okay.
2 pound. So people kind of always kind of bring my name up when they bring his up, and vice versa. And I want to be the guy. I want to be the guy.
Nice. Well, you're well on your way there. I've gotten a chance to see you in a few fights already, and definitely fun, impressive stuff. Let me just read off where you are currently in your career, right? You are ranked number 5 in the WBA, number 13 in the WBC, and number 15 in the IBF. Started your pro career in 2016. How do you feel about where you are in your career at this point?
I'm super happy. We took the right steps each step of the way. I didn't turn pro, promoted already. I fought my way into that. But we're super happy with where we are, especially now.
Nice. I noticed, like, on your pro debut, you fought on a PBC card that was on the undercard of Robert the Ghost Guerrero versus David Peralta. Oddly enough, my gym mate Stephen Big Shot Shaw was on that card against another friend of mine that I know, Johnny Rice. And then later on, I started seeing you on Golden Boy cards.
Yeah.
When did you exactly get signed to Golden Boy, or were you ever with PBC, or have you even signed a promotional deal?
I never was signed with PBC. I was gonna be signing with Sean Porter Promotions at the time, but the business part of it didn't really make sense to either party. So we kind of just kept our friendship as a friendship and not kind of a business thing. I fought on Top Rank, a couple of Top Rank fight cards, and then we were getting different deals from different places that we just didn't want to rush into, and Golden Boy came around, and it was the right deal, and that's who we signed with.
Nice. So Sean Porter was thinking about signing you. So do you and Sean Porter have a friendly relationship?
Yeah, we've known him and his dad. Me and my dad have known them since about 2010. We met at the wild card, and we just stayed in contact since then. He went to all my amateur fights, or not all of them, but a lot of my amateur fights that were just nationally and stuff. We were super close friends. I still talk to him to this day. But yeah, we're super close.
Have you been on the Porterway podcast yet?
I did one, yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Right
Yeah,
after my
Ken
last
Porter
fight.
is very active in the scene. I know he's got his own, like, kind of stable of fighters currently.
Mm-hmm.
And that's cool, man. Most people like Sean Porter. I don't know too many people that don't like Sean and Ken Porter. They're really well respected within the industry for not burning bridges and just being all around good people. And you want to
That's
keep those kind of
exactly
people
it.
close to you. So if you were to, like, give advice to a young up and coming fighter, management, promoters, fighting as an amateur, fighting as a pro, on the come up, what advice would you give them?
Obviously the typical work hard, be hungrier than everyone around you. But as far as like the business side of it, which a lot of people don't see, you either got to know the business yourself very well, or just know the right people that know the business well. Get yourself with the right people around you.
And as far as I understand it, your dad is one of the key components. He not only trains you, but also kind of advises you.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
was he a professional fighter himself?
No, he fought in the amateurs, and then he was fighting in Mexico too, and but was never a pro. No.
Ah, fair enough. Now, I know you are with Ken Shear and Shear Management. How long have you been working with Shear Management? Was this at the very beginning of your pro career?
No, I signed with them, I think around 2018 or 2019, I think. I think about 2018, and then we just been with them since then.
Nice. Got a great staff over there at Shear
Yeah.
Management. I've met Ken on a couple occasions. He was there at Commerce Casino.
Mhm.
That was where I met him for the first time. And I know some of the staff over there with your company. And always enjoy working with Shear Management. They're really dedicated to their fighters. I was gym mates with Raquel Miller. She also works with Shear Management.
Yep.
And yeah, so back to your professional career. My man, you're one of the top featherweights in the world right now. I want to show you a quick clip, and I want to get your thoughts on this clip after the clip plays. because this was one of the defining moments in your career, and I think you're gonna know. But I just want you to take a good look at it when we get a chance. Let me see if I can play this.
We didn't expect a firefight, but we're getting something of the sort right now, and down goes De La Hoya.
Big left hook landed again by Victor Morales, right on the money. Diego De La Hoya is thinking twice about getting up.
He is pouring blood right now. De La Hoya getting some extra seconds there from the official. Can Victor Morales close the show? De La Hoya goes down again, and he crumples to the mat. I don't think he's going to get up. Victor Morales.
So, man, I had to go to the Russian streams just to find that video. That like footage, that fight is not on YouTube or anything like that. I had like, where's this fight? I can get it. They've got like a different perspective, and it's not, I don't really like the perspective that they put on YouTube. But so Diego De La Hoya, Oscar De La Hoya's cousin, you ended up beating the dog snot out of him in 2 rounds. And you specifically requested Diego De La Hoya. Could you guide us through that process of why you selected Diego De La Hoya as the guy?
Well, it was, I pretty much, I was just sick of them giving me these, guys to test me. And I needed somebody with a name. I was getting to where I was going, but who were these guys that I was fighting? People in the boxing world knew who they were, but who was I really fighting? So it kind of pissed me off in a way, and I was done with dealing with that kind of stuff. So I said, I want Diego. And sure enough, they're like, are you sure? And so they turned me down the first time. And so I said, well, I'm going to take it to social media then. And so I started calling him out on social media, and he got the call. I got a call saying, hey, Vic, you got it, and went right to work. Well, we were already working before that, but, really cranked it up then.
That was such a crazy step up there. The only fight he had lost prior to that was against Ronnie Rios, and Ronnie Rios is no joke himself. What did you see in Diego De La Hoya where you were like, that's the guy, I know I can beat him? Or do you just feel like you can beat anybody in the world?
It's exactly that. And I knew that I could beat him, but I don't want to say, I was going to go there and beat him, even though that was the mentality. It was, I wanted somebody to bring out something else that I wanted the world to see. And that's exactly what it did.
Well, you definitely shocked a whole lot of people. That was a crazy display, because I don't think anybody really expected that. I think a lot of us expected to be a very competitive fight. And I didn't really know who I had picked to win, because I didn't know enough about Diego De La Hoya to really know. I had seen a couple of your fights. I obviously knew who William Zepeda was. And that fight, you just obliterated him. And I was like, oh, my goodness. Okay, Victor Morales Jr., he's on my radar now. Yeah. And then, you get that next fight. I'm at Commerce Casino. Next thing you know, it's another William Zepeda fight. And you go the full distance with Edwin Palomares in a vicious toe-to-toe war. That man from Distrito Federal, Edwin Palomares, was very determined. You got the win. What was it like to be in a dogfight like that?
We knew that he was going to be a tough guy. He made it very clear that he was coming with nothing to lose, that he was going to try and knock me out. And we knew that people say it, but there's certain times where you can feel that they're being serious about it. And so we took this fight very seriously, and we went in there and we put on a fight. That's just what it is. I got cut twice, finished the fight, couldn't see, but we got it done, and I felt like I boxed him.
I definitely agree with that. I saw in that fight with Palomares, I was there in the first few rounds. It was like a dogfight. And then I saw your father was in the corner. He talked to you. He told you something. I saw in the video afterwards, your father said, box, what are you doing? Box this guy. And then next thing you know, you're moving and grooving, staying behind the jab, getting your punches off, getting out the way, fighting effectively. What did you think? When did you know for sure that this was your fight to win?
I knew from the very beginning. Obviously, the first few rounds, we were going to go in there, and the original plan was to go in there and see what he was going to do, and then change it up if we needed to. And that's exactly what we did. We wanted to go in there, and we tried to go push him back a little bit, and then we switched the game plan to, we just got to box him out. We just got to box him. and then the fight changed.
The fight with Edwin Palomares, that was a beautiful display. There was lots of violence. There was lots of sways and momentum.
Mm-hmm.
What did you feel you did right in that fight, and what did you feel that you should work on from that fight?
Well, I definitely went in there and fought his fight for the first few rounds, and I mean it is what it is. We're fighters. We go in there and Ken is el más macho. Like we're trying to go in there and show who's. But then you got to switch it and who's really the smarter one in the ring. And I showed that I was the smarter one in the ring, and I usually am. And we went out there and did what we had to do.
It was a fun fight. The crowd, it was like thunderous in there. And then when the decision got read, it's good when it's like equal boos and equal yays, and you're like, oh yeah, everyone's pissed and heated about this one. Those are the fun fights. Like I love those kind of fights because that means half the people saw it one way, half the people saw it the other way. I saw you tipping them up, getting the better, cleaner shots off, and getting out the way, and it was a fun fight. And hats off to you, my guy.
Independence Day with somebody from Mexico, obviously. I technically had the crowd against me the whole time, which is fine. That this just is what it is. But like I said, we went in there, we gave them a fight, and we gave the crowd a good fight, and we came out with a victory.
Man, it was an awesome little scrap. So you're, like I said earlier, after that fight with Edwin Palomares, you're now number 5 in the WBA, number 13 in the WBC, number 15 in the IBF. The WBA just ordered that Odebek, Kolmatov, and Ray Ford go to purse bid for that WBA strap. What's the next step for you as the number 5 guy in that WBA chain?
It looks like they've already put us in a title eliminator. I'm not sure if this, my team's, I'm sure, talking about it. I just haven't heard the official word on it, but they're putting us in a title, me and another guy in a title eliminator, and we'll fight the winner.
Nice. Have you gotten a chance to look at the Ray Fords of the world and the Odebek and study the other guys like what's his name, Ria Abe and Mirko Coelho?
Of course. Everyone's got a different style. We're all now just fighting for that top spot now. We're all hungry. We're all going for it.
So, in the position you're at, Mr. Victor Morales, you are in the top of the featherweight division. If you had a magic wand and you had it your way and sanctioning bodies weren't an issue, what 2 fights would you have to get you directly to a belt to fight any one of the champions? You got Ray Vargas, you got Venado Lopez, you got Robesi. Who would you pick to fight to get to that top spot?
To get to that top spot, I'd probably pick Raymond Ford or Robesi Ramirez. I've been saying I wanted Robesi for a while. It's just, it doesn't work that way, obviously. If you said the sanctioning bodies don't matter, then that's who I'd want to fight.
Nice. Have you gotten a chance to talk to Robesi in person or online at all?
No, not at all.
Ah, nice. Well, I think if I'm not mistaken, I don't know. Actually, he doesn't have a fight coming up this week. This week it's Shakur and goodness, what's his name? Edwin De Los Santos. But yep. So they're gonna put you in a title eliminator next, and you don't have any idea who your next opponent's gonna be.
I believe it's number 6. Right.
Number 6. Let me see if I can find that.
It's
you got Luis Ronaldo Nunez?
Yeah. I believe that's who it is. I see it kind of floating around that's who it is, but I haven't heard an official word from it. So
nice. I see Stephen Fulton's right there in the number 7 spot too. So now I've seen you.
They can all get it.
That's the spirit. I like that. I like that. So I've seen you fluctuate and fight at super feather. I've seen you fight at 130-ish, 125-ish. What is your best ideal weight? Are you a featherweight? Are you a junior lightweight? Are you a junior featherweight?
I'm a featherweight. My career shows me kind of bouncing around between 26 and 30. Those fights are just when I have no choice and I can't get someone to fight me at 26, boom, try to 28, and that typically gets it. I mean, I came back from a 16 or 18-month layoff from COVID and fought back at 126. So I said, let's do it.
Nice. Not bad. Staying at 126. Found your groove. There you go. Well, I think that might be all the questions I have to ask. Oh, could I ask you some just current boxing questions about the state of what's going on right now in boxing?
Go for it.
So Terrence Crawford, as you know, became the undisputed champion, then had to vacate his belt. They gave it to Boots Ennis. They've been talking about Terrence Crawford against possibly fighting Canelo. Do you think that's a stupid idea? Do you think it's a possible idea? What do you think about that idea?
I think Canelo's already talked about it and said that he didn't want that fight or it didn't make any sense. But he also said if the money makes sense, then he's going to do it or he's willing to do it. Who knows? Terrence Crawford going from 47 and 54 up to 60 or 68. I don't see that actually happening. That's just my take on it.
What do you think Terrence Crawford is going to do next?
I think he goes up to 54 and see what he does there. I think the Errol Spence fight is still pending. I don't think that that's a fight that they want to take anyways because I think the same thing happens again.
I agree. I keep hearing the talk about that rematch at 154 pounds, and I wouldn't advise that for Errol Spence. Styles make fights, and I don't think that's the right style matchup for Spence. I think he could do damage at 154, just not against Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, agreed.
So the biggest thing right now in the boxing news circle, have you heard about this crazy super fight they've got planned out there in Saudi Arabia for the 23rd of December?
Yeah, is it all the heavyweights fighting?
Yeah,
they're a bunch of heavyweights.
Yeah, they're talking about on the 23rd of December, they've got AJ versus Otto Wallin, Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker. On the undercard, Hayo Patai is going to be on there, Flip Ergovic, Frank Sanchez, Danny Dubois, Jarrell Miller. The smallest guys on there are Dimitri Bivol versus Lyndon Arthur. Do you think that's an awesome fight card, or is it just a grotesque monstrosity of excess money?
The people from Saudi Arabia really want those fights out there, and it's showing, and it looks like they're paying. So, I mean, if someone's got the money to do it, and they've got the money to go out and pay these guys what they want to be paid, go for it.
I think it's an awesome idea for a fight card. Some people are upset that AJ and Wilder aren't fighting each other, but I think if fighters, for me, just to let you know, like the premise of where I look at boxing from, whatever can get the fighters the most amount of money, I'm always pro fighter above everything. This sport's ruthless. The fans are ruthless and inconsiderate. I'm trying to see all my, because I grew up in these boxing gyms, so most of my friends are boxers, and I'm trying to see my peoples get paid because this game, it's ruthless, my man. It's ruthless.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So get your money, get in and get out while you still have your marbles all intact. Victor Morales Jr., what is the long-term vision for you in this boxing game?
Obviously, I've been doing this since I was 7. It's definitely not easy. You already know, you've seen what we go through to make the weight and fight. I got my goals. Once I accomplish those goals, I'm gonna hang it up. There's no reason for me to continue to keep trying to prove something to people. I have nothing to prove to anybody anymore. I'm gonna win my world title again, and then maybe again, and we'll see what happens after that.
Nice. If you had some words to give to your supporters, Victor Morales, what would they be?
I appreciate everyone for always tuning in, supporting, especially the PNW. Keep following around, and Fight News is coming soon.
And we got to see the other side of the coin. There's a lot of haters out there and critics because social media gives everyone a platform. Victor Morales Jr., what would you want to say to your critics if you could?
Keep paying for the stream. Keep watching the stream. It's okay.
That's what's up, my guy. Victor Morales Jr., thank you for giving me the time. I know I have an awkward kind of interview style, but that's because I chop things up and put them on TikTok. So when I put it all together, I'll send you the clips of how I edit this together. But I appreciate you taking the time to speak to me, Victor Morales, and I'm hoping to show up to some more of your fights. If you're anywhere in the Southwest, Los Angeles, Phoenix, if you find yourself in Tijuana in a fight, I'll try and show up. I definitely am big on the Southwest. Sometimes I'll go to Northern California. Are there any plans for you to fight in the Pacific Northwest on a big event, maybe?
We've brought it up to Golden Boy a few times, and we're just working on it. It's going to be a little bit of time. Obviously, it's not easy to move them to a place that they haven't been to before. So we're just hoping for the best in the next couple of years.
All right. Well, thank you very much again for your time, Victor Morales, and I look forward to hopefully talking to you again and following. I will be following your career closely.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time, Victor. Have a blessed day, man.
Yeah, you too.